The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
Let's go, baby.
Are you ready for a break?
Yes,
Are you ready for a break?
absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com
We were on the break!
with Ambar Garcia, Bryan Broaddus, Voch Lombardi, and Derek Eagleton.
It is Tuesday, December 23rd, 2025, Season 21, Episode number 99. Welcome to the latest edition of The Break. We are live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star, presented by LG. LG is the world's #1 OLED TV brand for 11 years and counting. See why at lg.com/OLED Evo. It is Christmas Eve. We've got Amber back in studio. The Eve of Christmas. And we got Amber back in studio with us today. Feeling much better, ready to give you guys some great insight on this upcoming game, Cowboys versus Commanders on Christmas Day.
That trip?
Yeah, she ain't making that trip. When the schedule first came out, Amber was like,
She's like,
I didn't even have to ask. I was like, yeah, you ain't.
Christmas Day and
Yeah.
in Washington. I was like, yeah, I'm not missing it.
And you have family stuff on Christmas Eve
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
kind of like you, because that's the thing. We're leaving tomorrow at, I don't know, I think it's like 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
So you're going to miss all the Christmas Eve festivities, and then you're going to miss all of Christmas Day.
NFL.
And Amber's got a young kid. I get it. I understand.
I'm gonna be in Natchez.
Right, you heading out too,
I'm
right?
gonna be in Natchez, Mississippi. You heard?
Yeah, with the folks.
You know what I'm saying?
That's how it goes, man. But you know,
Ambar.
I'll be holding it down in DC.
Ambar gets the schedule right there.
Yeah.
She goes, win, no show.
I'm out.
I'm out, not even thinking about it.
You remember how that press box is. So you're not missing
I think
anything
I bought you a
at
burger
all.
at Johnny Rockets one time there. You have to go down to the second level and go.
Worst press
get that-
box
get
in the
Absolute
NFL.
worst. Well,
You can't see.
you can't see. The food is horrible. Like, there's nothing about that press box.
I'm telling you,
and that
first time I've
experience.
ever seen a blue sausage.
Okay.
You're not supposed to eat that. When it's blue, you're not supposed to eat it.
They were serving these sausages that had a blue tint
crazy.
to it. I'm like, that is
Crazy
insane.
hell, you ate one.
No, I did not eat one.
Crazy.
I don't think anybody ate one. That's when you go down to Johnny Rockets, as Brian
What
said,
was that? Yeah, you got to go into you take the press over down to one level and then
to where the fans
then you
eat.
go right in the line and get you some Johnny
I don't
Rockets.
even have a reference for where the fans are, where the elevator at. I don't know where none of that.
They put your seat is basically in the end zone.
bet
Your
they
press
do.
box seat is in the end zone.
Yeah.
Like right in the end zone.
But you have a bunch of
And kinda
bars
low in the end
front
zone.
of
Bar, yeah, you
Bars?
You
know,
can see,
yeah.
like
Like
from the
jail?
windows.
No, like the poles.
That's ghetto
Things
as
that
hell,
fall on
man.
things
Yeah.
head.
So you
And
can't
it's
see.
low in the end zone, so you don't even have the benefit of being up high where you can look down.
Yeah.
It's like low and in the end zone, so you really can't tell what yard line they're on. It's weird.
What was the game? The year that Tony Romo went in there, it was like a crazy game at the end. Like that.
Yeah, I think we were on the sideline by the end.
We
of
were
the
on the
game.
end of that
Yeah,
game, and
yeah.
I was MF and the
I remember that,
Commander
yeah.
fans. I mean, literally standing on the rail, just yelling at every one of them. And like, it was DeMarco Murray run in.
I think
it was
so.
a 4th down run
Yeah.
or something like that.
That sounds very familiar to me.
But it was a crazy game where it went back and forth, and Tony was. I think Tony might have got hurt in that
Hurt his
game.
ribs or something.
He got hurt in that game, and he kept playing. Remember, and he threw the deep ball. There was a deep ball that went down the field to somebody too. That somebody made a huge play on. It might have been Des Bryant.
I was like 15, man. I wasn't even.
No, this is this is not too long.
This would have
ago.
been like maybe 14.
Yeah, 14.
Maybe?
Yeah, right around 14.
15.
Yeah, but it was a crazy game where
Nick would know.
Romo
I was like 19.
Romo broke his ribs in the game,
Yeah.
or something happened, and he played through it, and it was crazy. Or his back, something happened with his back during the game. It was
I don't remember.
It was wild, but that's a wild. That place is wild.
Because
It definitely is. Yeah, it definitely is an interesting place, and we'll be there on Christmas Day.
Watch the
Merry
sewage.
Christmas.
Watch the sewage. It's one of those places that it leaks sewage. So like in the locker room, like sewage comes down on the players and stuff. Or
Why would I want to go to something like
remember,
that?
it's the place with the railing. Like Hertz was going over to shake hands with one of the Eagle fans, and the fan fell on top of him because the
Well, that's good. Yeah.
You're like, I
side
want to
gateway-
see that.
That's what he get.
Crazy stadium.
It's a nice trap.
Oh, man. DK Metcalf pull somebody.
Not as bad as the one in Oakland. Not as the one bad in Oakland.
DK took a nice little swipe up. Yeah.
Well, I saw the league say DK Metcalf got 2 games.
Yeah.
He will appeal. Appeal what?
And to whom?
To whom?
That's always my thing. You're appealing to the league that just suspended you.
What you gonna say? You ain't doing?
No. Right. It's
Well,
on camera.
he might
Reduce
find $600,000 for missing that game, and they might cut that in half. That might
Maybe,
be worth your
yeah.
appeal.
Yeah.
It might be.
Nah, they got him.
like they might say, well, okay, we'll cut it in half.
Problem is you're on camera. Like it's like no matter what your excuse is, it's like you're on camera swiping at a fan. That's probably the league probably says we can't not do something.
Did he say what the fan said?
Actually, yes.
Go ahead.
Because it's something funny. They said that it was like a racial slur and something bad about his mother, right? A fan in the section.
Double doozy, huh?
A fan in that section sent the video, and he was just like, bro, can you just sign my jersey? DeKalen, can you just sign my jersey? I don't know what he said prior to that, but there's nothing in that video that
Dude had blue hair.
yeah. There's nothing in that video that sounded close to
What he said.
racial slur and your mama
Yeah.
XYZ. You know what I'm saying? So DK just needs some therapy. That's all. He needs some Ambar Garcia therapy. That's it.
Hey, the Friday therapy, huh?
Get
Some
over
Yeti time. You need some Yeti time with AG. Yeah.
Simone.
All right. Simone. All right, here we go.
She know what that means.
That's a Mexican thing.
She know what that means.
Just
Okay.
means yes.
All right.
She don't understand. I'm telling her, but y'all don't believe me when I'm telling.
Was this your days of like working in the hospital and stuff that you learned Spanish? When did you learn Spanish?
I took Spanish for 2 years in middle school, high school, and college.
Okay.
But that's like by the book formal Spanish.
Yeah, exactly.
But then I worked in the hospital.
That's what I thought.
And working at a mental hospital is just
There
like
we
working
go.
in jail.
There we go.
Sometimes people get out of jail and don't have nowhere to go.
And that's what
And they'll lie and be like, I want to do something, and the police got to do something with them, so they take them to the mental hospital.
Yeah.
So you play dominoes and you
just hang out.
You hang out and you chill and kick it, and you learn a lot of slang Spanish because it's 5 different Spanishes, and you do just learn little key words or whatever. Nobody says "si." Like Mexican people don't say "si" for real. They say they got these slang words like huevo.
Don't say that on air.
Oh.
Ain't that like hell yeah or something? That's
Okay.
F yeah.
Let's leave
Hey
that.
man, to watch the Commanders, dog.
Yeah, let's
Some of
leave
them people,
that.
dog.
Let's leave that.
Simone safe. Simone safe. All
right.
Sorry about that, Derek. My
Here's-
bad.
I know we got way off.
You asked, man.
I tried.
I did not.
Brian asked.
Okay, here's what we want to do. First thing I want to talk about is Pro Bowl. We just found out. We just found out this morning.
Let me tell you
that-
what I love, Derek Eagles.
Yeah.
I come on the break and I have an offensive line opinion.
Yeah.
And fans fight me on the offensive line opinion. And then GOAT offensive line people come out and I feel vindicated when like Andrew Whitworth and Nate Newton and Duke Manyweather and Brian Broad agree with what Voch says.
Yeah.
You
As
just ran over me
opposed.
with the bus.
Huh?
You just ran over me with the
You
bus.
one of the O-line greats is what I'm saying.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, he was a compliment.
No, I was just saying I get run over with the bus, and then I'm one of the greats.
You're also, and all these great, Brian missed that one. But look,
You're
all
right about Andrew Whitworth and Nate.
But all those
I
great
appreciate
offensive
that.
line people basically agreed with Voch about the big Tyler guy, left tackle.
I
thing.
do
So,
agree
man,
with you. I do agree with
We
you.
good to go.
All right, here we go.
Derek, I don't agree with.
Vindicated.
That's fine. I'm good. All right, Pro Bowl.
Yes, sir.
Pro Bowl. Cowboys
came
get
out.
5 guys into the Pro Bowl. Dak Prescott, Tyler Smith, George Pickens, Quinnen Williams, Brandon Aubrey. And it surprises either guys that got in or guys that did not get in.
Damn, they didn't let my boy Turpin in there this time, man. Boy.
Hey, did I ain't gonna say that. Go ahead.
Nah, man, I was just surprised that they didn't let our Pro Bowl return guy.
Yeah.
He
Turpin.
slipped back. He slipped back.
They started holding in on the kickoff return.
Let me ask you a question. Did he slip back or did the coordination, the team, all the things around him slip back?
I think he slipped back.
You do?
He slipped back.
I don't think he plays with that same type of fiery, crazy spin, passion, all that. I think he's a guy that's very talented. I think he's also sees himself as a wide receiver now. I don't think he sees himself as a kick returner and a punt returner. The things that he was really, really good at. Now, we go back to the Commanders game, that game that was played there in Landover last year. I mean, he won the football game for you being a daring, cunning, crazy returner. And we don't see that anymore from him. He is a guy that more times than not, I mean, I've seen a guy, how about when they hand him the ball and he gets to the edge and he falls down?
Yeah.
There's a guy that played with balance. I mean, that guy last year against the Commanders, what did he do? Spun, kept his balance, and then took it to the house. Don't see that player anymore, man. There's something going on with that cat. It ain't good. It ain't good because he was one of the most when you talk about the coordinators having to deal with the guy, he was one of the guys you did not want to kick the ball to. But now it's kind of like they tackle him at the 28, they tackle him at the 24, they tackle him inside the 20 every once in a while. Didn't have that same giddy up that he once had.
One of the most interesting things I saw about the Pro Bowl announcements that I'm sure probably didn't surprise anyone that's in this room, but 2 of the 3 NFC edge rushers are guys that were on the Cowboys last year. Obviously, Micah, which we knew Micah would be. Demarcus Lawrence also makes the Pro Bowl. Okay. My question for you guys is, do you think Dallas made a mistake in not re-signing him? Because I think when you look at the money doesn't look like it's, so far beyond the pale. It's a 3-year deal, $42 million, $18 million guaranteed. That's an average of $14 million a year. Sure. That's not crazy money. Yeah. That being said, I do think it's sometimes there's something to be said for, and I think DeMarcus fits in this category. There's some players that they use it as a chip, and I think he's had a chip on his shoulder from the time he got in the league. Mm-hmm. But I don't know that he has the year he has if he's in Dallas versus what he did in Seattle. Do you think, though, the Cowboys made a mistake by not trying to re-sign him and keep him here?
What I think happened was, and I could be wrong, I don't know nothing. Nobody tapped me on the shoulder and told me this. I think that Tank Lawrence left because this ended up being like a Micah team. And then Micah left because, that whole situation or whatever. But Tank just left first.
Tank's like, that's his thing. I'm not that guy here, and I want to be the guy somewhere else.
You would hear the rumors, the little chirps that maybe Tank's leadership style didn't mold well with Micah's leadership style. And I think that he thought, nobody told me this, I think that he thought, in my personal opinion, that if we're going to move forward and he's going to be the guy, I don't want to be a part of this situation. Mm-hmm. I'm just assuming. So I don't even think that was a Cowboys decision, because if it's ego aside, character aside, do you keep Micah or do you keep Tank? Of course we're going to keep Micah. Of course, the player's better and younger, but that ain't how it ended up being. So you lost both of them. It is what it is.
But at the time, I would say, going back to that moment, you could see Demarcus Lawrence, and I'm glad he has had that year.
Congrats to him.
Yeah, congratulations. Good. I love him. I'm glad he's found success. But you have to say, he was declining over here, and he was dealing with injuries, and that kind of kept him out from certain plays, and it prevented him to fully shine. And yes, you could say that about Micah, and at the time, looking at it, you in your head were counting with the thought that you were going to keep Micah here on the team. So you're not thinking that far beyond, because I don't think none of us could have expected the kind of drama that went down with Micah and Jerry Jones and that whole thing with the negotiation there. But with Lawrence, I didn't feel terrible when his time here came to an end, because you kind of saw that kind of trending down. And you also thought that most people that you could put in there as a replacement with the combination of Micah, they would be successful as well. I mean, there were other guys that found success here or that were shining here. And so it's just one of those things that it just didn't work out, but it's working out for him over there, and I'm glad for it.
2 things. Number one thing is, I have a bigger problem that they didn't sign Jordan Lewis.
I'm with you on that.
For sure.
Second thing, this Aiden Durdee, the line coach at Seattle, is a bad man.
Yeah, he's
a bad man, and I mean that in a way of respect. Yeah.
For those who don't remember, he was here. He's the man with the coach. British accent from London, I think.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. He's listed as a defensive coordinator at Seattle, but he's really it's Mike McDonald's defense, and but that man can coach. He can coach. Dan Quinn told you he could coach. That was a big loss, and what you look at what happened is Tank has thrived with this guy as his coach, and it shows you. But I think Ambar makes a really good point. I think you saw some slippage in the play. I thought you started to see the health problems. I think even bigger though was he just didn't like Micah. he didn't like Micah, and that's the way it is. That's, you know, he made a choice. Seattle, good evaluation on their part, but they have a badass offensive line or defensive line coach that helps him,
For sure.
and it made him a Pro Bowl player.
Yeah.
So congratulations to him for that.
Yeah, and I think sometimes getting in a different place, maybe having a little bit of a different role, different expectations, I think sometimes can bring the best. We saw it with Demarcus Ware when he went to Denver. He wasn't asked to do the same thing he was being asked to do in Dallas, and he shined in that role enough to where he was part of that defense, one of the best players on that defense, but he wasn't asked to play the role he was having to play in Dallas, and so I do
Save the
that
game
change.
every week.
Yeah, and be the guy. Like he was one of the guys, but he wasn't he didn't have to be the guy, but he was the vet. And that was the thing. They could not have him play as many reps, but when he was out there, he was deadly. And I think that's the part that really allowed him to shine even more in Denver at a point in his career where maybe he couldn't take all of the beating that he had to take in Dallas as the man, right? All right, let's go ahead and take our first break. When we come back, we will dive into the Washington offense versus the Dallas defense. A lot to get to there, I assume. We don't even know who the quarterback for Washington is going to be, but
why we even finna talk about
I'm sure you guys have a breakdown on every possible quarterback that could play
Yeah.
this weekend.
Of course we watch Josh. What his name is? Of course we watch
Jeff Driscoll. Yeah, maybe there's a
course.
special
We played
package.
we played
Jeff
against him
Driscoll.
before.
We'll talk about that when we come back. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
If you can't be at the stadium, there's no better way to watch your Cowboys than on an LG OLED Evo TV. That's because everything you see is more lifelike. Every play, every hit. I mean, you might as well be on the sidelines. That's how clear it is. It's all thanks to LG's legendary technology. Perfect black, over 8.3 million self-lit pixels. No one comes close. LG OLED Evo is the best TV in the game for a reason. See for yourself at lg.com/OLED Evo.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman here, the official pitmaster of the Dallas Cowboys. This holiday season, I've got Yeti's new insulated bowls and food storage working overtime. The insulated bowls are amazing. It'll keep queso warm or guacamole fresh. And the food storage containers protect my ingredients and help me stay organized. They also make great gifts for the host, making Yeti bowls and food storage MVPs for the holidays. Get yours at Yeti.com or a Yeti store near you.
I'm home. Hey, Mom, before you ask, I've done my homework and the dishwasher's unloaded.
Nice. Hey, can you... Hey, hon, yes, I've got the finale ready to play. Here's your wine.
Wow. Isn't it nice not having to ask? We think so. That's why if there's a network interruption, AT&T will proactively credit you for a full day of service, guaranteed. Credit for fiber downtime lasting 20 minutes or more, or for wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for details.
Cowboys fans, here's the game plan. Touchdown Tuesday at Take 5 Oil Change. Just wear your Cowboys gear and save 25% on your oil change. No huddle, no overtime. Just drive in, stay in your car, and roll out. You'll be tailgate ready in 10 minutes flat. Keeping up with your car shouldn't be a tough call. Take 5 makes it as easy as calling the coin toss. Take 5 is the official oil change of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit take5.com to find a location near you. Offer valid through December 31st, 2025. Terms and conditions apply. Valid only at participating locations.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
Back to the break.
Super Bowl so bad.
Choose perfection. Choose LG OLED Evo. Check out the best TV in the game at LG.com.
You all right, friend?
I'm not fighting anymore. I'm letting. You know how I would stand up for Chris and be like, "Shut up, guys! Come on."
When you were gone,
back.
I just read.
We're back.
They'd be yelling at each other, and I was just reading.
Yeah,
I just said, "Hey, buy a TV."
It's called background
And Derek
noise.
is like, they're both, they're yelling at each other. Just
called background.
battle through it.
It's fine.
Just battle through it. Just battle
No,
through
it's all good. It's
That's
all
okay.
good.
It works.
Yeah.
Ambar saying that, but she gonna fight one of us for the day over with. I saw your eye twitching.
No, it did not.
I see your hand
No, it did
movements.
not.
I saw your hand, and you went.
The eye twitch is because she's not feeling well.
Nah,
That's
look,
what that
Very
is.
calm today.
There, she went. Oh, let Evo. I said, all right, it's finna go.
This segment brought to you by blockchain.com. Blocked. There we go.
Eventually, yeah.
All right, here we go. Brian.
Yeah.
And Voch.
Derek
Can you give us a breakdown of the Washington defense versus the Washington offense versus the Dallas defense? We'll get to the other one in the second half, in the final segment. Go ahead.
Derek Eagleton, man, let me tell you something.
All right, tell me.
This is what makes these breakdowns weird and difficult for us. This is what makes it difficult.
Week 17 breakdown.
This what makes it difficult. We can give you a breakdown of what these teams look like or would look like versus other opponents. If I told you, man, Marcus Mariota may be running out there, Josh may be going out there, man, maybe you'll have an opportunity to, come up and tackle because they're going to throw the ball short. Both those guys could run around a little bit. Maybe, if you, contain well, you can keep those guys. They have some problems on the offensive line. You would assume that a regular team can get some good pass rush on them cats, man. But this is Dallas Cowboys defense where dreams come true. This is the Dallas Cowboys defense where dreams come true. And somebody of sound mind would say, well, Voch, there's no way Marcus Mariota and Josh Johnson go out there and throw it all over the place. I've seen Jacoby Brissett go out there and throw it all over the place. We've seen J.J. McCarthy go out there and throw it all over the place. So there's nothing that gives me faith that these two backup quarterbacks, second and third string quarterbacks, would go out there and not, tear it up. We saw backup players block your D-line up front.
Yeah.
And Quinnen, we don't know what his next situation look like, but when he goes out, all right, cool. Well, this is this lineup, and this is what. But you still couldn't get pressure on those guys last week. I would only assume that this offensive line, that's better and healthier than the last offensive line that you just went up against, I would assume that you won't be getting pressure on these guys neither because you couldn't get pressure on those guys last week.
Can I ask you a question real quick on that?
Por favor.
Do you think that it was even worse last week without having Quinnen Williams than it has been since Quinnen Williams has been here?
It's been the same thing. It's been.
He schemed it up a little better.
He tried.
He tried to blitz a ton.
He tried. He tried to also bring linebacker pressure, and Murray gets a clean rush, gets home, and the next thing you know, it's a damn 34-yard run.
Yeah.
That's kind of where this is at. I think Voch has got these guys right. This team doesn't give up a lot of pressures. They don't give up a lot of sacks. Even a lot of it has to do with, Daniels hasn't been healthy the whole year. That's been the biggest problem. Mm-hmm. Marcus Mariota, if he played this game, it would be a big, big problem.
Yeah.
I think for the Cowboys offensively, it would be a big problem.
Yeah.
With Josh Johnson, I think what they're going to try and do with him at quarterback, and I watched him against the Eagles last week, he's going to take the snap, and he's going to predetermine where he's going to throw the ball. Cliff Kingsbury, the offensive coordinator, the last time these two teams played, did not have Samuel in the lineup, and he did not have Terry McLaurin.
Yeah. That's huge.
And
Did he have Burks? last time?
He had Burks.
Okay,
Burks made some plays against you last time.
Yeah.
So to me, this is where you're kind of in a situation where they're going to run a lot of bunch formation. They're going to run motions. They're going to, even with Josh Johnson, I feel like they're still going to try and play offensive football against you, just for the reasons Voch said. You don't pressure the quarterback particularly well, and when you don't pressure the quarterback particularly well, you don't get very good coverage. You're talking about guys that are legitimately outstanding receivers. Terry McLaurin's a Pro Bowl receiver. We all understand what Deebo Samuel is as a receiver, as a guy that runs with the ball in his hands. Yeah. This is going to be a tough matchup. You're going to see, like I say, a lot of bunch formations. You're going to see a lot of pick routes, drag routes, underneath stuff. You're going to see the ball get out quick. This quarterback is not going to let you get pressure on him, and it's going to be hard for Dallas to get pressure regardless. Yeah. So this is and the one thing that the Commanders can do is they can run the football, and they are committed. Cliff Kingsbury is committed to running the football when he has to.
Yeah.
And so I think this is going to be difficult in that regard. I think the biggest issues for the Commanders are on defense. That's where I think that they're losing a lot of these games. Their offense hadn't been scoring a lot of points, but where they're at, though, where the weaknesses that Dallas has currently, the Commanders actually have some strength. Their receivers are better than your defensive backs.
Yeah.
Their offensive line is better than your pass rush.
Yeah.
And now you're going to have to see if you could stop Rodriguez and Krosky Merritt from running the football on you, because they're going to try and do that to protect their defense.
Brian, if I had to bet, what they're going to try to do with Washington is that they're going to try to make you tackle them, make your corners tackle those receivers.
They're going to make you play a game in space.
Yeah,
they absolutely are.
They're going to get the ball to Deebo short. Deebo going to run, try to run over somebody. Traylon Burks is that same kind of guy too. Even though they haven't used him in that way, he's that same kind of dude. And Terry is Terry. I wonder if
McLaren's they're going to throw after what they saw. going to throw a deep ball on you.
So that was my next point. I want because they know Diggs. They've been seeing Diggs for a while. Diggs is around.
They're going to run him through trash.
I'm anticipating crossers. I'm anticipating
all
double
that
moves.
All that.
If I'm watching film and I see, hey man, if they're going to roll Diggs out there, I don't think Diggs can run like he used to. I think they're going to try to take shots on him, Brian.
Take shots on Diggs.
Yep.
Take shots. They're going to take shots on Ravel. I mean, Ravel, the one-handed catch they had the other, that was a great play. It was just a great throw, great play.
Sure.
But they're going to try and take. He's a rookie. This will be his 7th game. Him out there playing. So yeah, they're going to take opportunities to work against these safeties. They're going to if Diggs can't carry a route on, watch a team try the wheel route down there on the goal line again. If you prove that you can't cover guys or play technique the right way,
they'll keep throwing it at you.
They keep throwing at you. This team is bad. Their record says they're a bad football team. Their offense right now, I think, is better with the personnel they have on the field than the first time you played them. And I think that's the matchup you have to worry about.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, Dak's sitting out, this and that. They shouldn't be playing out."
Yeah.
But we're expecting them to play the full game.
It would be a shock to me because everything that's been said by Shoddy, everything that's been said by Dak, everything that's been said by Jerry says they are playing this game. Dak's playing this game. Their expectation is that they're going to try to give themselves the best chance to win. Now, I will see what that looks like in week 18 because I do think a game like that, final game of the season, maybe they relent. But I have no doubt that this week in prime, what is prime time, noon on Christmas Day, I have a hard time thinking there's any shot that Dak Prescott doesn't start and play that game.
Short week, it makes sense to go out there and try, But I will say this, and Ambar and Derek, and you guys have worked here a long time, and I was working with you. It means a lot, believe it or not to have a losing season.
Yep.
When you start to think about momentum going into the off season, and Voch, I'm with you on this one. The more I've been a media guy longer than I was a scout. Yeah. So as a media guy and a guy like you that absolutely loves the draft, talk about the draft all the time. I want the best drafting position I can get. I can understand Cowboy fans saying meaningless. Folks, I've been in that room upstairs where you sit there and you're just, please let me be 500. If the best I could be right now is 500, that feels so much better than having a losing record. Brian, Jason Garrett made a career getting to the next year, to the next year, to the next year being 8-8. It sounds mediocre, it sounds bad, but to people not having a losing season, it is the world to them. So for us to sit here and go, man, they need to rest and do this, I think you're absolutely right. But to them, they're thinking, how can this thing be 8-8-1? That's really important to them.
Yeah, and I think the other thing to that, Brian, is too, just you're talking about some of the most ultra-competitive people in the world.
Yeah.
The reason why you get to this level is because you have a level of competitiveness that is beyond the average person.
Right.
So every time you go out there to play,
signed up for 17.
Yeah, every time you go out there to play, you're like, I want to win. By the way, if you're having you and a friend, a teammate got a wastebasket over there and you're seeing who can make it, then you want to win. Like that's how ultra competitive these guys are. So I just think I get how fans think about it, and I get it makes all the sense in the world.
They're not wrong.
They're not wrong.
But
it's hard.
You never sat in that chair.
It's hard to turn off that level of competitiveness for someone who is ultra competitive. Yeah. So every time they go out there, and I'm talking coaches, I'm talking players, talking front office, they ultimately are giving everything they got to try to win that game. And whether it is getting from 5 wins to 6 wins or getting from 6 wins to 8 wins, it doesn't matter. It is a solitary game, and their goal is, I want to win this game.
I think it's important for Shoddy in the offseason stuff. As a first-year head coach, you do not want to be that where first year was a losing year. You don't want to say that. But you could say, well, yeah, it's being 500 is kind of like having a lose, but it's really not. Not to them.
Yeah.
Not to them. I mean, the record will say if they win these next 2 is 8-8-1. They didn't. They had some bad breaks, had this, that. But it's easier going into the offseason and the programs that maybe now that he wants to implement. And instead of going in one ear, out the other, we had a losing record. We had a losing team. It's, all the things that are negative. you could at least build on, hey, we won the last 2. Mind you, it was against the Commanders and it was against the Chargers. I think the Commanders have a much better team than their record is, by the way.
Yeah.
They've
had a lot of injuries.
They've had a lot of injuries, but, man, that their quarterback has been hurt. That's been a big, big problem. But I will say this, though. It is important for them to be 8-8-1. It is. It is really important. And me personally, give me the 10th, 11th, 12th draft pick. I'll take that all day. Yeah. But they win the next 2. That's not going to be the case. Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question. This is totally off subject a little bit, but do you think Daniels? What are your thoughts on Daniels? I know he's not playing this week,
kid
but
because he's from LSU.
Right, he's your LSU guy.
Yeah.
But I remember when he was in college, that senior year, that really great year he had. I have a nephew who's also an LSU grad, and he and I would talk about the games, and I would say, man, I think this guy has ultra ability. Like, he is a really, really good quarterback. He's small, and he thinks he's big. Yeah. What I mean by that is, he runs as though he's a big guy. He runs like he's built like Cam Newton.
Yeah.
I said that my biggest fear for him is in the NFL, that's not going to work for him, and it will shorten his career. Sure. Do you think that he has? Do you think that the injuries have caught up to him to the point where he really will think about, I have to be really, really smart about where I'm going to take a hit and not, to actually allow himself to grow and learn and become the greatest quarterback he can be in the NFL? Or do you think that will ultimately be his Achilles heels, which I'm saying injuries?
Yeah. I think when we're going through the draft and we're evaluating quarterbacks, I mean, it's good to have athleticism, but you kind of make your money based on processing and throwing the football, So if you can run, good for you, but you're going to be encouraged to, like, slide a little bit, right? Even Justin Herbert, great athlete, a little too tough for his own good, broken hand,
stiff arming people,
trying to run us over.
Yeah.
Hey, dog, you know what I'm saying? Chill out,
Go down.
Like that's some of the same thing. And maybe that's why I heard some people kind of talking about this a little bit. Maybe that's why Rivers can come back into the league at 45, but maybe Cam Newton can't, because a lot of Cam's game was being a freak athlete and then throwing the football, as opposed to, I'm going to throw it and I can run sometimes, right? I think Jayden Daniels, a large part of his game is legs and running around, all this kind of stuff. But I think you're going to last a long time in this league by processing, getting the ball out quickly. C.J. Stroud's another one. Like, he's having a weird little year now because he's kind of running a little less and he's, like, depending on, throwing the football a little more. The league catches up to you. So I think what kept Dak in the game, because Dak was a run-you-over guy, too. Use my legs guy. What kept Dak in the game, and we saw it that first year, everybody has a cool first year when we don't know you. The film comes out, you have to adapt. And if you don't adapt, you're Mac Jones or something, you know what I'm saying? But if you do adapt, you'll have a bad year or two, but then you'll come out on the other end of it like, you're a passer, you're an IQ guy now. So I just think Jayden and some of these other young guys, they just have to acclimate to the IQ part of it.
I thought Bryce Young was more likely to get hurt than Jayden,
because he's a little bear.
Yeah, he's real little
guy.
Yeah.
And the thing I know about, if you told me, if you asked me who the better passer is, and I've seen them both. I mean, I saw Daniels all his career at LSU. He literally carried a team that wasn't any good to 10, 11 wins. That's the kind of ability he has. He throws the ball so much better than what even with that guy at Carolina does.
Yeah.
So to me, I think he will figure things out when it comes to, they did their best to try and get him some weapons with Debo, signed Terry McLaurin. They're trying to do some things. Maybe if they get a tight end, offensive line play could get better for him. But I still think I think this year is just one of those years. But he'll figure out that he has to play with a little bit more of a awareness of when to get down, when to take a chance. He's really good at taking the ball and running and then skirting out of bounds.
Yeah.
He is good at doing that. I mean, he can make your life miserable. If something real quick about Dak, I could say,
sure.
as far as Dak's development, I think 2 things helped Dak the most. I think John Kitna really helped Dak back in the day. When Dak was struggling with accuracy and reading and mechanics and all that, I think Ken Dorsey being here this year has also helped Dak. I think there's a couple of coaches that have kind of behind the scenes been able to kind of work with that. Ken Dorsey, if you look at what he did with Josh Allen, he might be a terrible play caller, but this guy, evidently, he's got a good understanding of how to work with quarterbacks and kind of get them to mechanically be right. And I think we've seen some improvement with Dak, and I think it came through a couple of different guys early with John Kitna, and I think some of the things we've seen this year with Ken Dorsey, I want to give him a little bit of credit for doing that.
Dorsey was at Miami, right?
He
That where
was.
he played.
Yeah.
I thought so.
He was a Miami player. Yeah.
Pretty good player in college.
Yeah, pretty good player. Had really good players around him, but he seems to have a knack for mechanics and how the quarterback position needs to be played with mechanics and foot, the way your feet are and the way you set up and the way you look. But I really do think John Kitna helped Dak a lot when he got the opportunity to work with him as well. Dak took the teaching to it. He accepts coaching really, really well. And you can see the results of that. The guy's having a hell of a year.
All right, we're going to flip over to the break. And when we come back, we'll talk about the defense, the Cowboys offense versus the Washington defense. We'll be back. DallasCowboys.com radio.
Every day begins with a promise to work hard and to build a future. That's why we're here, providing the tools, expertise, and John Deere equipment you have relied on for generations to help you get the job done right. We're with you. That's our promise to you, because no matter the project or the challenge you're facing,
we're with you. We're united.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
I'm home. Hey, Mom. Before you ask, I've done my homework and the dishwasher's unloaded.
Nice. Hey, can you... Hey, hon, yes, I've got the finale ready to play. Here's your wine.
Wow. Isn't it nice not having to ask? We think so. That's why if there's a network interruption, AT&T will proactively credit you for a full day of service, guaranteed. Credit for fiber downtime lasting 20 minutes or more, or for wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for details.
From the field to the festivities, Lucchese embodies the essence of luxury and tradition. Handcrafted with meticulous precision, each pair offers unmatched comfort and style. Stand tall while you're tailgating or cheering in the stands with the Dallas Cowboys collection by Lucchese. Shop the collection today at the Lucchese store at the Star in Frisco or online at lucchese.com. Lucchese, the official boot of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
How's it going? You see that Cowboys game?
Oh, I watched. Been seeing some good things.
Totally. They have some talent.
Yup, some great talent.
And they got some fight.
Hoping this is the year.
Me too. Oh, I'm Cody, by the way.
I'm Travis.
Nice to meet you, Travis. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys!
Make a new friend based solely on their shirt choice. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
Back to the break.
AT&T connecting changes everything.
Welcome back. We're in the final segment of the break, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star, where dreams come true, as Voch Lombardi likes to say.
I need some, you know what I'm saying? Career.
You good?
Man, Brian, I was looking at this Washington defense.
What do you think about it?
There you go. What you got?
Man, I still feel like you just gonna run the ball on these people and throw it all over the place, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I think they're something going on with their defense, Brian. I can't quite put a finger on it. You know what I'm saying? But I think
something similar. What's going on with Cowboys defense?
No. Don't get carried away. Cowboys defense, something totally different has happened. Cowboys are the 39th worst defense in the league. Wow. I just think that you can find some places and just kind of take advantage of Washington. They got some corners that you know that don't match up well with your wide receivers. I think they're kind of big in the middle. Here's a matchup. Y'all want to talk about something? Want to talk about something?
Yeah.
Some little nuance right here?
Yeah.
Tyler Smith gonna be playing left tackle, right?
Yeah.
So you're not going to be as powerful in the interior as you was in the first game.
With Kinlaw and Payne in there?
Kinlaw and Payne in there.
Yeah.
So I wonder,
was this a bad move?
Man, is this, or
you're like,
now.
For this game, maybe it's better to put him back.
I think Bass will be okay. I don't know if Bass will be okay for 65 plays.
See, Brian, and this is my thing. And look, shouts out to Bass, man. Bass did nothing but go out there and do his job. But last week, the tackles, the edges were more powerful. Like they were the guys that you had to deal with. Right. The interior guys, you know, okay, cool, just do your job against them. Yeah. I still kind of saw Bass hanging in there. Oh, yeah. He was on a ride a little bit. He wasn't really dominating. And what's up, man? He wasn't really whooping feet on him, like, you know what I'm saying? So now I wonder, that level of talent.
Keep going, man.
That level of talent goes up now. You know what I'm saying? That you know, that's Deron Payne and Kinlaw. So now I wonder if they're gonna look at that matchup and go, all right, we don't see Booker as a scrub that we could just attack.
Yeah.
But this Bass kid, I wonder now, will they go after him? Because I feel good about Smith versus whoever's lined up at edge, you know, whether it's, you know, whoever's out there, you know what I'm saying? They hurt at edge. But I just wonder, will they look at the matchup and put their best guy over Bass, and will they give you issues? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think to me that the one thing that I was encouraged by with Bass, I felt like that Bass and Smith were doing a good job on that left side, playing with some power. You know? I just worry about
in the run game, right?
Yeah, in the run game.
Yeah.
In the run game. And Bass, we know Bass, he's going to whole trip clip you. You know, he's that kind of guy.
Hold on for dear life.
Yeah, he's going to be that guy. But, you know, I kind of feel like that you make a really good point, because I always now worry about when you play the Commanders, the first thing you think about is their inside presence. And then you also think about Bobby Wagner playing as that inside, you know, as that Mike linebacker.
Sure.
Because, you know, that's a big guy right there.
Second level block in the run game.
Second level block in the run game and stuff like that. So if you're having trouble getting up on the linebackers, and Frankie Louvu is a guy, whether we're talking about Frankie Louvu at Carolina or Frankie Louvu with the Commanders, here's a guy that, you know, the level of play when you watched him the first time when these two teams met, I thought he was a much better player last year, and then and then you watch him this year, but you still notice him on tape. You still notice him around the ball. You still notice that Dan Quinn likes to move him around. He's an occasional blitzer and stuff like that. So, yeah, where this team has really, really, really struggled is the secondary. They just do not cover particularly well. And, you know, Quan Martin, the safety, has had some problems there. I mean, they don't tackle particularly well. You could see teams, when you watch the Philadelphia game, there was plenty of times where ball thrown underneath, and then a tackle's being broke, or, you know, long runs, big plays. Yeah. You know, they give up some chunk plays. You know, Dallas defensively is statistically one of the worst defenses in the league, statistically, at a lot of levels. Yeah. The Commanders are right there with them when it comes to this. So which offense will be able to handle the other? I think if you look at it, this is one of those things where maybe the Commanders could get a little bit more pressure with their guys than what your guys are going to get. But whatever team is able to do that, I just don't think the Commanders are going to let you get pressure on them if you can. Yeah. I think the ball's going to go out quick. I think they're going to want to run the football. Defensively, I think you're right, Voch, about their ability. You could run the ball on these guys, but you could also, like I say, throw in the football and then run after catch, big plays. They're going to have a hard time. You know, especially, let's see if Flanoy comes back. I heard some very encouraging things about him. I was thinking, well, the next 2 weeks he's probably out with some type of knee, but they're like, no. You know, it's short week and all that. He might play. So, but Washington will have a problem if Dallas protects the way they do, and then their ability with Dak Prescott to just pick these guys apart. I think they can do that. I think it'll be a big game for them that way.
That's the key, though, Brian. You got Lamb and Pickens, and they got Sandra Steele and Noah and Omni.
Igbenogany.
Yeah, we had to learn that. We had to learn that last year when he was that last year or year before when he was here.
A couple years ago. Yeah.
You definitely have the advantage throwing the football.
You do have the advantage throwing the ball. You absolutely do.
But I do think that they're going to kick it off running it so that they can set everything up, play action, and then just kind of do everything.
All right, so I don't know that it's kind of pointless for us to pick a winner for this game. But here's what I will do is I want to go around the table. I want you guys to tell me what is one thing that you want to see.
I'm not going to lie. I would pick Commanders if Daniels was playing quarterback.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
I would. But I mean, he's not, so I would pick Dallas.
Honestly, when the schedule first came out, I thought this was going to be a split. I thought the Cowboys and Commanders would split this.
I went on 105.3 The Fan and said that I thought that when the schedule came out, I thought this game was going to be winner was in the playoffs. That's what I kind of thought this game was going to be.
Yep.
Winner in playoffs. Instead, this is Commanders are going to pick far ahead of you, and you're going to pick somewhere behind them.
Yep. So tell me one thing you're looking to see, whether it is a player, a matchup, a position group, an element of the offense or defense, run defense, whatever it is. What's something that you're going to particularly be looking at this weekend in this game, or this Thursday in this game?
I'd like to believe that maybe that Matt Eberflus is going to try and scheme some things up. I don't think I say this because we saw it last week. Compromised offensive line. This offensive line is probably one of the better ones you played in the last 3 weeks when it comes to the health overall. Flus is going to need to see, and what I'm going to say here, Voch, things he's going to need to scheme it. I want to see better finish in the pocket. And I know it's week 17, and I feel like that I'm just talking to the clouds. But if I see you over there, but if they're in a situation where Dallas schemes up pressure and some free rushers and they get in on Josh Johnson, finish in the pocket, please. Finish in the pocket. Don't let them break loose and make plays. We've seen that far too much. That's something I'm going to keep an eye on.
Man, I just want to see my offensive line continue to grow and improve as a young unit. I think the Cowboys are going to beat the hell out of the Washington football Wizards like 44-41. The Wizards about to score.
How about get up after every play, too? You want to see everybody get up after
more than
every
anything
play.
else.
That's what I'm most worried about. I ain't worried about draft position.
That field, watching that field, the Philadelphia game, I was not encouraged by that field at all looking at it.
Yeah, Cowboys.
Garcia.
I think the Cowboys do win, but even if we see some improvement on defense, it's just it doesn't matter at this point. It doesn't matter. Like, there's nothing you can possibly do for me to change my evaluation of this year's defensive play.
Muy simpático.
But muy simpático.
Is that Spanish?
My wish here is that no one gets hurt.
Yeah, there you go. That's the most
they come out healthy from this game. I do think I think anytime these two teams face each other, it's always a very competitive game, no matter what. No matter if they're out of the playoffs, it doesn't matter. It's still going to be a competitive game. But the Cowboys find a way to win that game. And yeah, just hoping they come out healthy and no problems here.
The big thing I'm looking at players at this point, and the player I think I want to watch the most is Donovan Ezeraku, because we've talked a lot about it. I think he has surpassed expectations when it comes to his run defense.
Yeah.
I think we're all waiting to see more from the pass rush.
Yes, sir.
And I want to see in these last two games if we start to see more of that. Start to see some of those moves that we saw from his college tape that maybe gets him home a little more frequently, because I do think, looking at all the players on this team, he's the young guy that I think going forward I have the most hope that they're going to become a really good player for this defense going forward. So I kind of want to see his development and see if that continues. Revel's another guy I kind of want to see, but I've kind of put Revel in the category of this is somewhat of a lost season. I think getting him back was the win. You got him back and got him on the field. Right, that's a win. Going into, I want him to be healthy so he can have a full off season, so that next year we get to see all the things that we saw from him as a college player. But really, I think it's Ezeraku who I really am going to pay a lot of attention to, because I really have big expectations for him.
I can't wait till we sign that coach that's under contract with some other team. He's really going to elevate the hell out of Donovan next year. I promise he will.
Thank you guys for joining us. We will be back on next Monday after Christmas. You guys have a wonderful Christmas. We will be back on Monday.
He tries to keep his mouth shut.
We're going to try. We'll be back on Monday. And we'll talk a little bit about this game. We'll start getting ready for the Giants game. We'll have some bigger picture conversations as well going into the final week of the NFL season for Voch Lombardi,
Merry Christmas to
Bryan
everybody.
Broaddus, and Amber.
Happy holidays,
Derek
guys.
Eagleton. Has been the Break Live on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?